Hey guys, Matt. In this video, I'd like to speak to any and all flat earthers that will listen to my message. I have some advice. I think this advice is invaluable, and I hope if you don't know this channel and you're just drawn here because of the way I'll tag or title it, I hope you give me 5 or 10 minutes to get into the heart of the message that I want to deliver to you because honestly, if you don't adopt it and change the way you're making your presentations, you're never going to get anywhere. And let me just start by saying that in all aspects of what we call the truth movement, every single bucket or subgroup inside the truth movement has been compromised by the system. And it just doesn't appear that you guys on the flat earth side, if that's your thing, that has not been the focus of this channel. I will explain why. It appears that you're just not as skeptical of your leadership as we are or others are in different aspects of the truth community. Before I get a lot of nasty comments, before people give me the chance to get my message out, let me just hopefully get people in the midst of their typing right now that essentially you guys have won. Your message isn't getting out, but you've proven that everything they've told us about the nature of this realm, this planet, this reality, this earth is wrong. And I'm not surprised because every area inside of truth that I've ever looked into, and flat earth is one of the few I haven't spent a lot of time looking into, although I enjoy a lot of the videos, every element or area I've looked into, it proves that what these authorities over here have told me has been 179 degrees from the truth, just an outright lie. I've said this many times for people that don't know my channel. Throw a dart into any aspect of our history, how things work, what the monetary system is, why we fight wars. It's a lie, 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 lie. They've lied about everything. So you guys over here have proven that everything that comes out of NASA, the forked tongue of NASA, is a lie? You think I'm surprised by that? I didn't just fall off the turnip truck. I understand they lie about everything. So why would that escape their list of lies? So of course, when you prove over and over and over again that the simple math calculation on what the curve of the earth should be, 8 inches per mile squared, there are hundreds and hundreds of videos that show that's completely ridiculous. Can shine a laser beam across a lake. What the laser beam's supposed to hit should be 12 feet or 20 feet below the earth. You shouldn't be able to see it, and it just hits the laser beam across the lake. You've proven it. But you're not going about things the right way. Not at all. And I don't think you're skeptical enough of your leadership. Okay? So let's move into the heart of the video in a moment. The reason I haven't been more interested in this topic is twofold, if you'll allow me to get this out before I deliver the main message. One is I'm more interested in the control structure of this realm. You know, George Bush and these clown politicians, they smile for the camera. If you can see their face on TV, they don't control jack shit. So I've always been interested in who does he really report to? Well, that must be Dick Cheney. No, who's really the dark creature in the back room? That has always been my fascination with the way basically this prison planet works. Two, I keep on the table that this is some sort of matrix. Illusion, simulated realm, hologram, holodeck. I didn't just fall off the turnip truck. I've been researching these sorts of things for many years, and there's tremendous, tremendous evidence that theory on reality has to be kept on the table. Flat earthers are very physical people, solid. You drop a brick on your foot, it hurts. Everything must be real. Everything must be heavy. That's kind of where you guys most people have come from. So we won't get into illusion. That's all for other topics of conversation, other videos. Everything's very real to flat earthers, or to most of you. I'm just explaining why I haven't spent too much time on it. Although I give you all the credit in the world that you guys have proven proven now, we knew they lied about the Apollo missions to the moon and nobody goes to the moon. We know all that. But in terms of all the other areas, you guys have proven that that's all bullshit now. So we applaud you for that. Just hear me out. But if the world is a simulation, and I keep that on the table, then of course the simulation could provide evidence to both sides to support two positions at the same time. So you guys get all the evidence you want from this simulation. Stephen Hawking gets all the evidence he wants that it's, and Carl Sagan and all the rest, that it's a globe. Why couldn't it feed, conflicting evidence? It can do anything it wants if it's a simulation. Okay, let's move on. Forget that. Everything's real for the purpose of this discussion. Quantum physics is all nothing. Everything's real. Everything's hard and solid. Okay. So you guys are not skeptical enough of your leadership. In other truth movements, which is the obvious example, is how we all know Alex Jones is a big clown and puppet of the system. But we're skeptical, a lot more thoroughly skeptical of our, quote, leadership in other parts of the truth movement. I say one thing a little bit misleading and people will jump all over me. I'm not a leader. Some of these channels have 200, 300, and 350,000 subscribers. So when that happens, we look very, very skeptically at them. Done it all recently. Even though people generally still are on our side, if they do one thing wrong, we let them have it. You guys don't seem to do that on the flat earth side, but maybe I don't pay enough attention. But your leadership, in terms of the way they present the message to you, their minions, in delivering the message, in trying to get the word out, it's all we try to do here in the truth movement, is we try to get the word out. It's a big thing of, although we're getting frustrated with it, many of us are saying we're not going to do that anymore. We're just going to try to improve ourselves. For the past 5 to 10 years, all we've been doing is try to get the word out. It's natural to want to do that, to have others see what you see. So my biggest thing with your leadership is twofold, and this is the 30,000 foot discussion, and then we'll get more detailed. One is the use of the flat earth term at all. It's insane to use it. It should not be used in having a general conversation with people that don't see things the way you do. It should have been replaced a long time ago for obvious reasons. So if your leadership keeps saying flat earth, flat earth, flat earth, flat earth, well, either they're very naive, there's something wrong with them, they're retarded, or they're meant to mislead. They're leading you, their minions, the wrong way. I'll get to that if you have the patience to hear me out. The second thing is, whenever they, I just watched, somebody said, watch this Rob Skiba, if I'm pronouncing his name right, a presentation he gave in Canada. And as I was watching it, and as it was getting more technical and more technical, and his research seems to be wonderful. It's very, very interesting. It absolutely does help prove NASA lies about everything. But I was thinking as I was watching it, and it's been very consistent with all the other, quote, leaders in this movement, ODD Reality, Jeranism, Eric Dubay, if I have that name right. I've never seen anything he's done, and there's some others. But I thought a third of your presentation at this point should be a psychology lesson in dealing with the people that you want to present this information to quote, wake up. And because I've never even heard the psychology of it even mentioned. Now, okay, I haven't watched thousands and thousands of videos like many of you flat earth people have, but I've come across a lot over the years. Okay, I've had my nose in this stuff, all general truth, for a long, long time. And I've never heard any of your, quote, leaders take you aside and say, and I'm going to do it here, the psychology of the presentation is critical. None of your leaders ever mention it. So I'm skeptical of them for not mentioning it. What I mean is this, and it starts with the word flat earth itself. If you want anybody, and this is because it's second grade psychology, question your leaders why you don't hear this sort of thing from them. It's kindergarten psychology. You want people to see that this is a flat plane, the first thing you do is never use the word flat earth. Never. What you would say to anybody, Grandma Ginny, or Aunt or Uncle Joe, or the guy on the street, or somebody at the diner, the only way to make the presentation is to say, you know what, we've done it. We've proven that we know the government lies about everything. We know that the model of what this planet is, what this realm is, our existence, we've proven that they've lied even about that. NASA, the government, they've lied about everything. See, that gets at least some people that even desperately want to believe in the system, that are just will do everything in their cognitive capacity to hold on to their worldview, the way they want the world to be for themselves and their kids. And first responders are all good, and politicians, even though a lot of them are corrupt, they really do go to Washington wanting to do the right thing, but then they're kind of go down the wrong path and they're corrupted. And this worldview is all constructed from the day we're born. And then the people at the diner, if you talk to them about, what you want to talk to them about what this plane of existence really is, they'll use cognitive dissonance. So this psychology lesson of how to deal with people should be almost half or a third of the presentation that your leaders are giving to you. But I never hear a lick of it. And you don't use the word flat earth. Now, look, it's kindergarten stuff. We've all been bred from the moment we were born, just like the term conspiracy theorist was pulled out of the CIA's ass, I guess, during the JFK assassination. Conspiracy theorists. We've all been bred that anybody that even says the word flat earth is a lunatic. Obviously, you don't believe that because you're a flat earther, but can't you acknowledge that everybody around you believes that? So why would you immediately, in getting to a fight, or let's call this argument or debate over what this realm is, a fight, you're going to start a fist fight just jabbing yourself in the gut with a big samurai sword and pulling it up and start bleeding out? Why do you hinder yourself, flat earthers, by even using the word? The presentation is not that and it's too in your face, but let's just start with the basics. The presentation is about, hey, these people have lied. Lied about what? About the nature of our reality. Do you want to know what the lies are? Not getting in people's faces. It's just so aggressive. It's getting in people. The earth is flat. The earth is flat. Flat. You think that's gonna go over well? It's the same reason, Alex Jones, people can't understand his role. Say, well, Matt, how could Alex Jones be a controlled animal farm when he was 6 months after 9/11 taking to the streets of New York City with his minions and screaming that 9/11 was an inside job? Well, because we know 9/11 was an inside job, what you do is the information is going to get out to people with the eyes to see, so you want to control the movement. You get a caricature, a disgusting creature that turns everybody off, like Alex Jones, to go to New York and scream in everybody's face, 9/11 was inside job, 9/11 was inside job. So then people look at that and go, that creature couldn't be right. He's a freaking nutcase. I'm gonna believe Don Lemon at CNN. So in a way, using the term flat earth is the same exact thing from a psychological standpoint to all the people you're dealing with. Your leaders should never use it because you don't hear them saying what I'm saying to you. I'm skeptical of them. Okay? This is Psych 101, kindergarten level. 101 implies college level. No, this is kindergarten level shit. So the second thing is when they give a big presentation, like Rob Skeeb or whatever in Canada, a third of it should be about, look, you guys want the people around you to see how the world really is. I mean, one of the big, unlike truthers on other sides of truth, like what the government really is, who the controllers are, what is 9/11. Obviously, it wasn't 19 guys with box cutters, but what's the nature of the ritual of 9/11? A lot of people over here are going, I'm sick of trying to wake people up. Flat Earth, that has never ever been the case. One of the major premise of flat Earth is to try to uh, wake people up to it, and why shouldn't you? That's a noble pursuit. You should. Um, but haven't y'all haven't stopped and to think, are your leaders have you doing it all wrong? So why shouldn't you be skeptical of your leaders? So in this Eric Dubé Canada thing, say we're doing 30 minutes at the end if anybody can stay on how to present this to anybody you really want to wake up to what this realm of existence really is. We're doing 30 minutes at the end on the psychology of it for anybody that wants to stay. One, never use the word flat earth because everyone's been conditioned to think the person mentioning that is a complete nut job and they won't listen to a word you have to say after you say flat earth. So say to them, you've been lied to. And if I could show you at the absolute cornerstone of what their argument is completely breaks down, then would you be open to other things? Yeah. If you could show me their cornerstone of their argument is nothing but air, sure, I'll be open to other things. You have to get their mind ready to open up because it's fused over with ice their entire lives. It's most people can never open their mind to any of this. But for the 1 out of 10 people you come across that has a chance, it's a process. Like you have to massage it a little bit. You can't just run up and get in their face and scream flat earth. You're done if you do that. So the basis of your argument should be you shouldn't all this complicated stuff about what's your model. Well, here's the sun and the moon go around and they're a lot closer under the dome and this is how the seasons work and all this complicated Rob Skiba modeling stuff and or whoever presents all these complicated models. There should be like one thing every flat earther talks to, that somebody on the street, the first time they talk to them, you shouldn't go past this one baby step. The baby step simply should be, it's your most damning evidence, and you shouldn't go past it. And I'll explain the psychology of this in a moment. It's critical. It should just be the classic calculation of the curvature of the globe Earth, 8 inches per mile squared. Okay? 8 inches per mile squared. The flat earthers have blown that the fuck out of the water. There are now hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of independent experiments, probably over 1,000 if you just want to find all of them, where if the curvature, and if somebody's standing 3 miles away and you're 6 feet tall and they're 6 feet tall, they're supposed to drop a certain amount. The 8 inches per mile squared, what every NASA calculator gives you, has been proven wrong. It's 100% now proven wrong. The experiment, it's almost redundancy upon redundancy upon redundancy how much experimentation has happened in that regard. No, I don't believe every little experiment proving when they send the laser over the lake and somebody's a half mile across the lake and the laser really doesn't drop. It's supposed to drop whatever 8 inches and it doesn't even drop 1 inch. I don't assume that every one of these experiments, these people are shills. They're all in on it. They're all planted by a government alphabet agency. They can't pull any of these shootings off. It's all a joke. They have crisis actors coming forth the next day after all their classmates were just slaughtered, and they're like laughing, like, yeah, I saw the gunman. These horrible actors and the horrible. But for these guys doing these flat Earth experiments, it all seems completely legitimate. No, these are legitimate. They are legitimate. Because you've blown that calculation out of the water, why do you go past the calculation? See, your leadership hasn't given you even a one-on-one on how to deal with the psychology of dealing with the people that you want to present this information to. For example, everybody that's going to have the cognitive dissonance that you deal with, that's going to want to hold on to their worldview, that's going to want to think you're a total nut job if you mention the word flat Earth, they're going to resort to the basic defense mechanism of what I call, it's a psychological mechanism that I coined called "take me to the last page of the book" syndrome, or "show me the story's end" syndrome. So you start presenting page 1 about, and hopefully you're presenting page 1 about the flat Earth in the right way, and page 1 should simply be, this calculation that they give you, 8 inches per mile squared or whatever, that's now gone. It's been proven to be false. And even if you're not doing the laser across the experiment, you have the P900 camera that brings the ship back. That's been proven false. So that's the first page. But then people will say, "Well, explain the seasons." This is classic cognitive dissonance. They don't really want to know the end of the story. They simply want you to show them that you don't know everything. Then they can latch on to what you don't know or what you were inconsistent upon, and then they can use that to completely wipe out all the facts and all the good things that you told them. So they'll say, "Well, explain the seasons then to me. Explain how the sunset works. Explain." They'll take you to the hardest levels right away. And most of the flat earthers who haven't been trained on how to deal with the psychology of people doing this, I mean, the number one, even if you don't know how to deal with it, then the number one thing is to identify it and push it back on the person doing it. And say, "Wait a second, look what you're doing. I'm trying to give you a kindergarten overview as to what this is all about, and you're displaying a classic defense mechanism, which is show me the last page of the story. We just started the story. We're on the first page. You want to see the ending. You want to be taken to the last page of the book." It's also called immediately, give me the who, what, when, where, why, and how. Is that 6 things? Who, what, when, where, why, and how. And if you don't have all 6 things, you don't have all 6, you don't know anything. They'll dismiss everything you have to say. So the way to deal with that in people, you'd say, wait a second, even your local news presents only 3 or 4 things, but they still present it as news. A clerk at the 7-Eleven was shot in North Philadelphia. What do we know? The who. We don't know the who did it, so maybe they don't know the who. But we don't know the why. Why was the 7-Eleven clerk shot? Well, if the money's gone, we know. But if the money hasn't gone, we don't know. So we don't know the who did it. We don't know the why. The how, yeah, whether a gun was used. The when, yeah, it was last night. So even the local news, they don't have all the elements. So if you could point that out to someone, it's not fair to say I have to show you all the elements before you get interested in this topic. What you're doing is you're trying, it's a classic defense mechanism, because when I can't give you every bit of all 6 elements, then you'll use that to dismiss what I'm trying to present to you. So you put it back to them and show and get them to notice what they're doing. And that's 101 stuff. Do I ever hear any of this stuff from the flat earth leadership? No. These aren't dumb people. Look, I don't know who the flat earth leadership is. I'm skeptical of all truth leadership. I'm very skeptical of flat earth leadership when they haven't given you guys a Psych 101 class the way I'm doing now. This is basic shit. And I'm also skeptical that that they'll continue to use the term flat earth, which is suicide, in your presentation. You mean any flat earther watching this, really? You really think that doesn't completely damn your argument right off the bat? Come on, man. Let's look at deep inside ourselves, Clarice. Look deep inside yourself, Clarice. What does your inner knowing tell you? Let's think about hard on it. What does your cosmic knowledge tell you? The inner soul and our DNA. We're honest. We know the stigma that word carries, flat earth, with everybody, almost everybody on the face of the earth that's not in the flat earth bucket. So it is 100% accurate when I say you should never use it. If somebody's coming around and somebody's opening up to truth and saying, yeah, I've seen a few videos where they just shine the laser across and this 8" per mile squared, and which squared meanings as the distance goes out, the curvature ramps up. It gets even more dramatic how things would. Yeah, tell me more. Anybody's interested, you could start talking to them about this. But if they got their back up, you're a flat earther, conspiracy theorist, or I've never heard Don Lemon say anything like this. If they're all going to get their back up, and anybody gets their back up. You have one option, flat earth. And why haven't your leaders told you this? Because it's everything I'm saying is 100% true, and there is really no other alternative for you. It's just to say these people are lying, man, lying, and we've got all the evidence that they're lying. And I can show you. Look at the calculator. Here's the calculator right here online. 8" per mile squared. What if could I just show you 3 or 4 great amateur experiments where they shine the laser and they just blow it out of the water? And then I could show you hundreds of links of people doing similar experiments. And once we break down the basis of what they tell you this planet is, would you be willing to look into other areas? That's all you guys can do. Have you ever heard that from flat earth leadership? No. It's just the constant, it's the over, it's too detailed. The constant modeling, this is how we're trying to figure out seasons. And like, why do you feel you have to figure it all out? You just, and you might say, look, when you deal with your minions, say, look, it, in presenting this to anybody, all that matters is we've proven these people to be liars. Now, on our own time, it's very interesting and exciting. Let's figure out how the seasons could work in a flat Earth model, or how we need to reshape our flat Earth map, or on our own time in our own little Dungeons and Dragons club. You guys can do all that, but don't present that to the world. Nobody's going to buy it unless they're in your camp. Look, I guess the message is pretty clear at this point. We're all on the same side of this, folks. I just hope a few bits of advice that I had there will filter out into the flat Earth community. We're all in the same camp. We've been lied to about everything, and we basically live on some sort of prison planet. This is where heaven and hell collides. There's beauty on this earth. Walking through a forest, seeing birds, a brook, stream, no doubt. But those in control are very eager upon turning this realm, if not into a prison planet, some sort of hell-like place. That's what our controllers are out to do. And we all do. I think we all agree on that. Thanks, guys.